Scott McKenzie here, and we're on the tour bus with Kid Rock at Orlando Calling. And let's start up by talking about your foundation, because we're collecting canned goods outside, and a lot of people are going to meet you here in a second, had the chance to meet you because we're collecting food and doing things like that. You're making us more aware of what we can do. Where'd you get the inspiration for the foundation and to get things going in a charitable way?
Man, it's kind of a long story. I guess I started off years ago just doing stuff locally in my community, and then all the stuff that went down with the military. And I mean, it's incredible how much stuff goes on in the world today. You just don't realize it till you're put in this position. And I mean, it could be a full-time job for somebody to just sit there and go through requests. I mean, it's unreal with the guitars that come to get signed, with the people that need help. And I mean, especially being from in and around Detroit there, it was just something, I said, maybe, this is something I can do. And when I started looking at a lot of the other organizations going on, I was like, this is a bunch of hogwash, man. Everyone's having these big champagne dinners and golf outings and stuff, and you don't know how much money's going here. And the CEO of this organization is making $1 million a year, and everyone's got their family on the payrolls. I was like, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to go play my music for it, and that's how I put music in it. We operate with 0% overhead, and that's the way I plan to keep it. And it's just a way for I'm just in a position to do it. Basically, I've been blessed enough to be fortunate in what I do, and just thought it'd be the right thing to do. I just kind of believe in helping out your neighbors before you help anyone else.
Well, a lot of, you're in a look at me business, so a lot of people don't take the, while you're looking at me, why don't you do that too? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm in a very good position to be in, to be able to do this, and it feels great to be able to do it. So, and it's just you do all these corporate gigs and stuff, and you're like, rather than pay me all that money, just put it in my foundation. And they're ecstatic about it because they write it off or whatever they do, and then I get to take it and do it kind of, more. I like to kind of put my hands on somebody's shoulders, so to speak, just to really see where it's going, to see who it's touching. And, out of my own pocket, I got to pay someone just to find out which organizations are the right ones to do it. It's kind of a mess, man, when you really get down to the politics of it. But, I think I'm trying to do it the best that I can. And like I said, I'm just fortunate.
I was just in Palm Springs, California, and there's billboards everywhere. Kid Rock's coming to Palm Springs, California. Here in Orlando right now, and you're going to be within weeks in Palm Springs, or in Southern California. So what is this like? What's this tour like for you? It seems like you're everywhere.
This was just a result of being an empty nester. My son started college, and I was sitting around kind of getting bored of smoking cigars on my back porch, and kind of looked around. I said, man, outside of your friends and family, what do you really give a crap about? And it always came back to music. So I said, man, this just happens to be an odd date here, and so does the one in San Diego. But in between there, we're doing I think a 12 or 13 city club tour, just to go back and play clubs. Who cares about the money? We're actually giving money away, almost as much as we're making, if not more some nights than what we're making, putting it right back in that community to people. And it's just getting the band back together before we go in and finish another record and kind of go back to what we got into this for, just to play music and really play it for the people who've supported us most, and pull out some old fun stuff and just kind of have a really loose kind of jam for a few hours every night.
What is it about you and Sheryl Crow that your voices just blend together so well? I was just watching Collide online, and it's amazing how you two mesh. She looks at you like, this is awesome, in the video. And how did that partnership start, and how did you know you guys would blend so well together?
I think she's just so sweet. I'm the exact opposite of that. And somehow, I think it's a lot of our upbringings, some of our outlooks on life, because some of our outlooks couldn't be more different, when you start getting into, just things going on in the world. But for some reason, we're really into a lot of the same things, musically, personally, being Midwestern people. And, man, I wish I had an answer for you on that one. It's kind of like why are there so many white rappers in Detroit? I've been trying to answer that for years. I don't know.
You ever get to Orlando or Florida just for fun, or is it usually for work?
No, all the time. My parents got a place in Jupiter. So I'm down here a lot, when my son was doing spring breaks and stuff in school and this, that, and the other. Spent a lot of time in Florida. Came down here to Cocoa Beach every year. My grandparents lived there. There's so many people from Michigan that do the snowbird thing down here. So I'm no different from one of those Michigan people. And, spent a lot of time in Florida.
Awesome. Bob Segar's on the bill with you tonight. You get to hang around Segar a lot with the Detroit connection?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to become friends with him over the years, and he's probably one of my biggest musical heroes. And just personally, too, just how he's lived his life and the things that I've been able to study and learn about him. And he uses my rehearsal hall now, so I got some cars in there. I'll just mill around, act like I'm polishing up the cars, and, hey, what do you think, Bobby? And I'll be like, sounds good, Bob. little more kick drum on Fire Below, but it's right there, man. It's great, man. It's really cool. I said from this gig, we were talking about doing this gig, and it's funny because me and him shared the same manager for years, and that manager would always say, "You don't open for anybody. You're a headliner." Because I'd be like, "I'm just gonna do that show. It's gonna be fun." You don't do that, blah 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 blah. And now I'm opening for Segar, which is, I couldn't be more ecstatic about it. They said, I really don't care what the money is. I just want the coolest tour poster in the world that I can hang up and look at one day because, that's how big of a fan I am. And I think it's important when you've had success to always try to still remain a fan at heart. That's where you get a lot of your inspiration from. So to still be a fan, to still be an all-around Bob Segar and be friends with him and just, couldn't be happier. I'm looking really forward to it.
All right. Thanks for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. All right. It's Kid Rock right here on Mix 105.1 on 1 at Orlando Calling.